You all please join me in Gassho. Repeat the Nembutsu with me. Namo Amida Butsu. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Well, great apologies that our Sunday service could not be on one of those really nice sunny days. Yeah, we were experiencing some beautiful summer sunny, or well, not summer, sorry, spring sunny days the past couple of days. And it was kind of funny because I get the News Tribune on my mobile app, right? And there was an article in there that said, don't get used to the sunny days, right? And they were giving us that warning because the cloudy and the dreary and the rainy days are ahead. But I think, they say it in like kind of a negative sense, like, uh-oh, rain is bad, cloudy days. And yes, it's definitely true that sometimes the weather can affect our mood. When it's cloudy and gray outside, sometimes that can make us feel a little sad, a little mopey. But other times, again, as we learned, impermanent always the case, right? Yes, we want sunny days. But sometimes actually having too much sun could be a bad thing too. We need those cloudy days to balance things out. And that actually is the theme of today's Dharma talk, the balance. And why is this? Because we are talking about Ohigan. Okay, Dharma school students, let's have you all just remember, do you remember what Ohigan means? What does Higan mean? I said this before. Okay, anyone else? What does Higan mean? Sure, it means, who said that? That was, yes, thank you. Yes, yeah. Okay, but it can mean shore, but it actually means other shore, okay? Other shore, or, the other shore, representing the shore of enlightenment. So Dharma school students, what does Higan mean? Other. Again, very good, very good. Now here's the great thing, right? We celebrate Ohigan 2 times a year. So I will see you again in the fall, and I will ask this question. Make sure you don't forget. Now, how many of you have been to Point Defiance? Yes, well, everyone should raise their hand. If you live here in Tacoma or in a close area, you should have done Point Defiance. You all know about Owen Beach? Owen Beach? Yeah, yes. You love Owen Beach, yes. Now, if you look out across Owen Beach, maybe you can see Vashon Island. How many of you have been to Vashon Island? Okay, here's a question. Okay, and for the record, I have not yet been to Vashon Island. I need to visit. Yeah, I definitely do. I want to go to that Japanese strawberry farm and go to the strawberry festival. But here's a question, and I want to see hands, be honest. For those of you who have been to Vashon Island before, how many of you swam there? How many of you put on a bathing suit or, the goggles and the head cover and swam there? Nobody. Oh? Is what? Is it legal? I don't know. I am not encouraging you to do this. I'm not daring you to, so Dharma school students, for the record, I'm not daring you to do it. I am not suggesting you do it. I think it'd be very dangerous to do it. Don't do it. How many of you drove the car and went on that ferry, that big old ferry, that white and green ferry that goes in there? It's like, yes. Well, Dharma school students, this is exactly what Amida Buddha's other power is. Okay, this is what the Nembutsu is. This is what Namo Amida Butsu is. Okay, so for a lot of us, for a lot of times when we look at Buddhist pictures, or we see Buddhist monks, or we see Buddhist training, it's very hard, very rigorous. Now that being said, becoming a Jodo Shinchu priest is no easy task either. But when you see a lot of these hard practices that some of these monks do, sometimes they have to go without food for a few days. Sometimes they have to sit in meditation for, nonstop. Other times they have to circumambulate around an Amida Buddha statue for 90 days without stopping. This is like swimming from this shore on Owen Beach to Vashon Island. I have no doubt that it is physically possible to do. However, I think the vast majority of us, a good majority of us, either do not have the physical capability, the drive, or the desire to. And for the record, you shouldn't. It's dangerous. It's beautiful to look at though, because you see sometimes the killer whale, or orcas, right? The orcas, you see the fins come up. But what does swimming to Vashon Island, that represents self-power, okay? Self-power. Now, when we talk about self-power in Buddhism, for the Dharma school students, this type of power is basically doing everything on your own, okay? Doing everything on your own. Now, of course, we should always be self-sufficient, right? We should be able to function in society and do things like, without always needing the help of others per se. So, for the Dharma school students who are going like way to college, you should be able to know how to do your own laundry, for example. You should be able to know how to put the laundry in the machine and put the detergent in, put the coins in, and press the start button. Believe it or not, when I went to college, I encountered some people, mostly men, or mostly young men, who did not know how to operate a laundry machine, and I had to teach them how to do it. But basically, self-power, jidiki, okay, self-power is like doing everything by yourself. Now, sometimes we get big egos. Sometimes we get, really sure of ourselves. I don't need any help. I can do it by myself. I am certain every single one of us here in the congregation has told our parents this before. Stop it, I don't need help. Don't help me. I can do it by myself. I've said this many, many times before. I've said this many, many times before. And sometimes that's okay. Sometimes we do need to be able to travel this road by ourselves. Parents can't always be interfering with us. This is true. However, what was today's theme? The balance, right? The balance. We sometimes actually have to receive help from others. We have to allow others to help us. We have to allow others to sometimes give us encouragement, give us help, give us a little push. In terms of Buddhism, we are riding the easy path or the large boat of Amida Buddha's wisdom and compassion. Every time we feel a great sense of the benefit of wisdom and compassion, anytime something wonderful, we realize something wonderful or we awaken to something wonderful, we place our hands together and say, Namo Amida Butsu. This is riding on the large ship that is Amida Buddha's wisdom and compassion, riding to the other shore of enlightenment. Yes, maybe some of us can actually do the hard task of swimming to Vashon Island purely with our own physical spirit or our own physical body. But I would not recommend it. And I would definitely say that in some senses, we actually may not get as far as we think by doing self-power. This is why we must solely rely on Amida Buddha's other power. So when we go throughout life, always thinking, I can do it by myself. I don't need any help. I don't want to get help from others. It's sometimes important to ask for help and to graciously receive help. This is an important, I think, skill that all of us, especially for Dharma school students who are going to be graduating and going off to college. Sometimes we need help with time management. Sometimes we need help with budgeting. Sometimes we need help with a lot of things. And for the future, by the way, I highly recommend, right, like getting a specialist, right, like a CPA. Why? Because taxes or doing finances is probably one of the most complicated things that this country has ever made. I definitely wouldn't want to do my taxes by myself. That's why I ask for help. If I get sick, do I just think to myself, oh yeah, well, I can, I'll just, take this medicine or something and I'll be fine. No, I immediately tell my doctor. I consult an expert, a person who will assist you. And the same thing that's true when it comes to our teachers, right? We come, we're sort of, required to go to school, and we kind of take it for granted sometimes. But teachers can be teachers are one of the most precious resources our society has to offer. And they give this information to you. They give you all of their wisdom. And they do it not because of the money, I can tell you that for sure, but they do it because out of a sense of giving back. And this is, again, something that we have to recognize as followers of the Dharma. We don't realize it, but we are, in many ways, we are riding this wave on a large ship of infinite wisdom and compassion. And this wisdom and compassion comes in the form of teachers, doctors, people who take care of us, people who watch out for us, even if we don't know they are. This is the big wave of Amida Buddha's wisdom and compassion. This is the spectrum of Mahayana Buddhism working for our benefit. So again, we might be able to, we have those book of world records, right? We have these, we recognize people who have achieved like really almost impossible things. Whether that be the amount of wealth that a person can accumulate, whether that be a physical endurance test that no one else has done yet before, right? These are all, nice, but they are not the things that get us to enlightenment. They are not the things that enhance our awakening or our awareness of the wisdom and compassion of Amida Buddha. Saying thank you is part of it. Saying, I appreciate your efforts that you have given to me. That's part of it. Putting our hands together and saying Namo Nembutsu, that's a really big part of it. And realizing that we are not in this journey alone, that we are all riding on this large ship to the realm of enlightenment, given freely to us by Amida Buddha, is something that we place our hands together and say Namo Nembutsu for. This is happening now, here and now. And it should comfort us, it should fill us with great joy, and we place our hands together and say Namo Nembutsu. My talk might sound a little bit more on the, I don't want to say heady side today for Dharma school students, but today is Ohigan. Today is a day that we have to recognize the shore of enlightenment, the shore of awakening, right? Shigan is this shore, the shore that we're on now, the shore of delusion, the shore of ego, the shore of the self, the shore of thinking things are permanent. But we also, on every equinox, spring, we must see the other side as well. We're not there yet, of course, but we can definitely recognize and appreciate its benefits. So with that in mind, Dharma school students, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedules for coming today. Make sure you ride those nice big ships and realize all of the working that goes into the wisdom and compassion that is Amida Buddha. Please join me in that ship. Namo Amida Buddha. Namo Amida Buddha. Namo Amida Buddha. Namo. Reverently contemplating the true Buddha and the true land, I find that the Buddha is the Tathagata of inconceivable light, and that the land is the land of immeasurable light. Because they have arisen through the fulfillment of vows of great compassion, they are called true fulfilled Buddha and land. There are relevant vows that were made, the vows of light and of life. Namo Amida Buddha. Namo Amida Buddha. Good morning again, everyone. I would first like to thank all of the members of the BWA for creating such wonderful mochi. I unfortunately was not able to help pound the mochi this time around because I had to fill in for a burial service. And truly, I do not know what Tacoma Buddhist Temple would be without the BWA. Frankly, I don't know what the BCA would be without the BWA. I'm going to go even further and say, I don't know what Jodo Shinshu Honganji Ha would be without the BWA, or Fujinkai, if you prefer that title. This is an organization that has lasted well over 100 years, I think, now, yes? Yeah, I think, yeah, 100 years now, wow, 100 years, amazing. And I think that it continues to this day, even in different countries, should actually speak, should actually highlight the relevance and the importance of this organization. Also, we are celebrating Ohigan as well. The excerpt that I took today came from the chapter of the true Buddha land, of the Pure Land Way. This comes from Shinran Shonin's Kyokyo Shinsho. This is the first part, and this is him highlighting what his, what the true, real, and Buddha and what the true Pure Land is. And I think it's very important for us to reflect on this, since it is our Ohigan of spring. This is a time when supposedly, or well, not supposedly, but I don't think it's exactly today, but we're recognizing it today. But when the time of day and the time of evening, or the time of day and night, are actually equal, and what we call equinox. And this represents the perfect balance of, this represents actually the perfect balance of samsara and nirvana. And one of the things that Shinran talks about when he talks about nirvana is Amida Buddha's Pure Land. For what Amida Buddha's Pure Land comes from is the realm of nirvana, is the realm of nirvana. It arose through the actions of the realm of nirvana. So we as people, we as humans, and people who suffer or who are afflicted with what we call the human condition, cling to things, right? We want things to be concrete. We want things to last forever. We want, we want to better our station in life. We want to make sure that we live comfortably. We want to make sure that, we probably want to make sure that we are correct in an argument. We have a very strong clinging to this ego. We have a very strong clinging to this body, right? We have a very strong clinging to the identity of who we are. Yet, truthfully speaking, Amida Buddha or Bodhisattva Dharmakara, many eons ago, many timeless of times ago, realized this is the human condition. And regardless of how far along we've come in technological advances, we are probably this close now to having a self-driving car that will take us anywhere we need to go. Some cars already kind of exist that way, but we are this close to having a self-driving car. Who knows? Maybe in my lifetime there will be a transfer, like a what do you call like a Star Trek thing that can beam me to various places. Who knows? I mean, and think of all the medical advancements and technology that we have achieved as a people. We are living longer and healthier than we have ever lived in human history. We've had to constantly raise, the average lifespan because of this as well. We have achieved so much. We have been able to reach far ends of space with satellites, and we are able to explore, see different galaxies through gigantic telescopes. All of these are wonderful achievements. Yet, because of these achievements, because of all of the advances that we have made in our lives, we think ourselves sometimes to be fully enlightened and awakened now. We think of ourselves as purely, geniuses, or as, this really advanced society, or this really advanced human race. Yet at the same time, our affliction of constantly desiring things, of having an insatiable hunger for personal gain, or constantly thinking that we are always correct, still persists to this day. This is something that Shakyamuni Buddha, many 2,600 years ago, has told us from time and time again. We are afflicted with kleshas, with imperfections. And so, at first, it's important to recognize this. Yet, at the same time, one of the wonderful teachings of the Buddhist Pure Land Way is that because of these imperfections, because we are afflicted, right? Not despite. This is a very important lesson that was given to me by Reverend Tetsuo Uno. Some of you may know him or have heard him speak before. And one of the lessons that I will always remember him saying is that the difference between Christianity and Pure Land Buddhism is that in Christianity, God loves man despite their sins, right? But in Jodo Shinshu Buddhism, in Pure Land Buddhism, Amida Buddha loves people because of their imperfections. Okay, so digest that a little bit. This is this is the whole, I think, crux of what makes Jodo Shinshu Buddhism, or sorry, Pure Land Buddhism somewhat unique in the realm of Buddhism. Is that, in some thinking, we think that we have to do all of these hard practices, all of these hardships to rid ourselves of these kleshas, to dust them off or cleanse them off or get rid of them, right? But in actuality, because we are so afflicted, or because our karmic burden is so heavy with all of these afflictions, Amida Buddha worked tirelessly for 10 kalpas to bring us to the Pure Land, to become fully awakened beings. I can think of no other way that we can express our gratitude to this huge act of kindness, to this huge act of selflessness, but except for putting our hands together and saying, Namo Amida Butsu. In this time of Ohigan, we constantly see, I think, people remind themselves of the Buddhistic nature that sometimes surrounds us. They go on a week-long diet of vegetarianism. So if you go to Japan and you're going during the time of Ohigan, probably there will be more vegetarian options available to you. I'm not sure, but most Buddhist households actually will go vegetarian for a month. For a week. And then also, they will spend more time going to temples. They will, surround themselves by priests. They will read sutras. They will do more Buddhist activity. The difference, I think, though, and by the way, Nishi Honganji also has special services that are celebrated during Ohigan. But truthfully, if we think about, why, we do Ohigan, it's because of activity that's already happened. Something that has already occurred, and that is Amida Buddha's fulfillment of the 48 vows to create a Pure Land for us. So when I think about it, I go, wow, when we say Namo Amida Butsu, when we come to temple and we listen to the Dharma, essentially almost every weekend should be seen as Ohigan, right? Every time we encounter this word, Namo Amida Butsu, or we encounter the Nembutsu teaching, should be seen as a form of Ohigan. Because it is power, or it is a teaching and wisdom and compassion that comes to us directly from Amida Buddha. It comes to us directly, without any effort of our own. We don't pay for it, we don't petition for it, we don't have to work for it. It comes freely to us. And this is the reason why I feel that Ohigan is a little bit different in Jodo Shinshu. The enlightenment activity is currently working for our benefit here and now. And this is because of the fulfillment of the vows. And Shinran Shonin once again highlights this in his collection of passages regarding the true Buddha land of the Pure Land Way. So thinking on this, I am so moved, almost to tears, to think about the countless, the 10 kalpas, the endless time of working, of hard practice that Bodhisattva Dharmakara embarked upon in order for us to receive the benefit of the Pure Land in the here and now. While I do not subscribe to the theory that the Pure Land is right here and right now, I do subscribe to the theory that the benefits from the Pure Land directly affect us here and now. Anytime that we have a flicker of wisdom in our heads, anytime that we see ourselves more than just ourselves, realizing that we are part of something much greater, that is the working of Amida Buddha's wisdom and compassion. So with this in mind, we will, we are going to once again celebrate this time of perfect balance, of equinox. And in this time, I ask you all to say Namo Amida Butsu. Please join me in Daisho. Reverently contemplating the true Buddha and the true land, I find that the Buddha is the Tathagata of inconceivable light, and that the land also is the land of immeasurable light. Because they have arisen through the fulfillment of vows of great compassion, they are called true fulfilled Buddha and land. They are relevant vows that were made, the vows of light and of life. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo. Namo. Namo.